So let's go ahead and let's do a quick roll call just to make sure that we're all accounted for. Angela or Brianna, would one of you mind helping with that, please?
Commissioner Bowie,
Here.
Commissioner Eldridge,
Present.
Commissioner Ellis,
Present.
Commissioner Firstel,
I'm here.
Here.
Commissioner Cannon, Fletcher, Commissioner France,
Here.
Commissioner Smith, here. Director Peck, Director Lewis, here. And Beth Carpenter.
Present.
All right, very good. It seems we're still having some audio issues, but it appears that Ben, JT, and Lauren can hear us, so we're going to go ahead and proceed. Beth, is that okay? They seem to hear us, even though we're having some audio.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Now, we do have a quorum. Is that correct?
We do. We do. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, folks. Thanks, everybody, for being here to the Wednesday, April the 12th meeting of the Little Rock Parks and Recreation Commission. Let's go ahead and get underway. We've had our roll call. We do need to first get to approval of the minutes you should have received prior to this meeting. And for those of you here in attendance today, you have a copy of both the February and the March meeting minutes. Are there any amendments, edits, questions about the February or March meeting minutes that need to be reviewed now? All right, no comments, edits, questions, then seeking a motion to approve the meeting minutes, the February and March meeting minutes.
I move approval of the February 8th and March 8th meeting minutes.
Motion, is there a second? Second, is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor of approval say aye or wave your hand. Aye, okay, any opposed? All right, meeting minutes are approved as delivered. Any citizen communication today? Director, were you expecting any citizen communication?
I was not.
Okay. All right, very good. Then let's move on into our agenda for staff reports. So, Director, you want to lead us in that, or you just want to go down through the bullet points here?
Yeah, so we just, if staff can just go down their list where they're highlighted.
Okay, very good. Ms. Nelson?
Okay, for Resource Administration, first I want to give a special thanks to Brianna Hatfield for completing our March and February minutes. She worked very hard on this, and I just wanted to say thank you for that, getting those completed. The department had their first stat meeting, which was the first quarter, which was for January, February, and March. We had a great turnout and a very productive meeting focusing on our data for all of our divisions and focusing on the expectations for the next meeting, which is in July. The department will also be hiring for a social media and marketing coordinator. We did have something similar to this a couple of, maybe 4 years ago, but we're going to revamp that position, focusing on planning and implementing marketing strategies, and just to ensure that we have a consistent brand integrity throughout the department.
Very good.
As far as our payroll area, we've been challenged with of coding or trying to capture all of the work time related to the tornado relief efforts, including volunteering. Hopefully this will go a lot smoother on our next payroll cycle. Also, we have in our revenue compliance area, we're providing staff support regarding cash control procedures. Just want to make sure everybody's, doing what they're supposed to do, or have a basic understanding of how all that works. We're also providing training for reconciling credit card purchases. I believe we have a training sometime this week. Also in that area, we will be performing weekly unannounced site audits and petty cash audits to make sure everyone is following the procedures that we have in place. Also, a new challenge that we have regarding, well, as because of the storm, is our asset inventory. I believe this week a group of us will meet to account for all the damage that we have in our parks. We've had some areas that are affected, which I'm sure Mr. Couch will elaborate on when he gives his speech. And also, lastly, we're continuing to monitor our spending. So that completes my report for resources.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Any questions for Ms. Nelson on the administration report? No questions on administration. Let's move to recreation. So Ms. Robinson, you're up.
Good afternoon. Recreation Division, we are currently, we have some vacancies that we are trying to fill. Assistant facility supervisor at the tennis facility. Also, we're trying to fill two recreation programmers positions at Stevens and Southwest Community Center. We have wrapped up interviews for those two positions. However, we are having to go back to the drawing board on one of them to re-advertise, and then the other we're going through the hiring process. Also, we have a position at Jim Daly Fitness Center, the fitness specialist position. That position is an equity review, waiting HR reviews. Next, we have the community centers. We have Stevens, Dunbar, West Central, Southwest, and East Little Rock. And they're currently, the youth basketball program has ended, and they are now registering for youth sports in baseball, t-ball, softball, soccer, and Rally Cats. Rally Cats is a tennis program. Also, they have the junior hoops coming up, and they'll have 3 different areas: middle school, 6th grade through 8th grade, and then high school, 9th through 12th. An update about West Central Community Center has currently been closed due to the tornado relief and FEMA offering assistance to the citizens of Little Rock. And Mike will speak a little bit more on that. At the Southwest Community Center, they have a youth choir and dance program that's on Wednesdays from 7 to 9 and Saturdays from 11:30 to 1. The Therapeutic Recreation Division will host their 21st annual Therapeutic Recreation Arts Festival on May the 5th. If you have not had an opportunity to go to this event, I would encourage you to please go and check it out. They have a lot of vendors there, different activities and things for the kids to do. And they have the main feature is always a dance contest, and it's really fun. So if you have not, and then they also sell t-shirts, so you can capture the moment of this 21st year. Their summer camp, the Therapeutic Recreation Youth Summer Camp is starting on registration is starting on April the 10th. And the camp will go from June the 12th through July the 21st, and it will be at the War Memorial Clubhouse. MacArthur Museum, they're preparing for 2 traveling exhibits in the next few months. Manufacturing Victory is one of them, and it's from the National World War II Museum. And it'll be out from May the 19th through April the 4th. And the other exhibit is The Color of Freedom. And this exhibit comes from the Military Women's Memorial in Arlington, Virginia, and will display June the 17th through August the 26th. And also they have a 5K run on May the 5th. Our athletic division is preparing for our summer playground program. Registration begins May 1st. And this program will go from June the 12th through July the 27th. We have the following sites: J.A. Fair, Baseline Academy, Washington Elementary, Dunbar Community Center, Stevens Community Center, and East Little Rock Community Center. Resident Tennis Facility, they are very busy right now due to, and as well as the golf, they're very busy right now due to the tornadoes. We have incurred several participants from the North Little Rock area coming over to play golf with us and utilize our tennis facilities. The junior tournament is scheduled for April the 22nd through the 24th. The Jim Daly Fitness Center is offering a new program, and it's called a pre-qualification lifeguard course. And this is very new. We just started it, and it's a course to get students prepared for taking the lifeguard prerequisite test. And that test consists of them learning to swim 300 yards, tread water, and pick up a 10-pound brick from the bottom of the pool. And they have to complete all of these skills in order to become a lifeguard. And also, they have to complete the Red Cross training to be certified as a lifeguard. And once they have completed all of these things, then they potentially can be hired with us as a lifeguard. The Resume Golf course, on April the 28th, they will have an outing with the NUSA organization. And then in the next 2 days after that, they'll have another ladies golf tournament. The First Tee Golf Course hosted a tournament of masters. This tournament had food, the actual food that they serve at the Masters. It was called a day at the Masters. So they had a lot of kids there. They even had, we'll be sharing the pictures a little later on, but they also had a kid it was his birthday, and they dressed him up as a caddy, and he and his grandfather. So it was a great day for him and to enjoy his birthday there doing those golf activities. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Any questions for Ms. Robinson on recreation? Ms. Robinson, do you happen to know how long does FEMA plan to be at the West Central Sports Complex? And that might be a question for...
At FEMA?
Yes.
Potentially between a month to 2 months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. All right, very good. Then let's move on to operations. So, Mr. Dorsey.
All right, and I think I'm going to go ahead and handle it. That's on one report on your page. So I'm just going to run through maintenance and operations and just kind of cover some highlights from all those things. So the maintenance side of things have been really busy this month. Always, it's kind of that gearing up time with spring and trying to get flower beds up and running. Been working on getting the splash pads up and going, unwinterizing all the restroom facilities, getting RPZs, getting all that stuff kind of that goes along with the spring, getting all that going. And then in addition to that, kind of that with our other staff here, week and a half ago with the tornado, we kind of all got pulled and trying to handle both of those things. So, but the guys are doing a really, really good job, still keeping up with those duties, albeit a little bit slower, but getting everything ready to run for the season. Design some of the things that's going on in that. We're really excited. One of the positions we actually have vacant, have interviews scheduled for this Friday for a park planner. So that would be a huge help to our design team to get that up and running. This interview that we've got a promising candidate. Hopefully everything will pan out in the near future with at least a candidate getting that position. Dunbar Gardens is almost complete. If you get a chance to drive by and check that out, we've got the fence, the gate, the new signs installed, all that work. We're just waiting on the sculpture, which should come a little bit later this spring. Do we have a date exactly on that?
May 11th and 12th. They'll
The 11th and 12th. Okay, off the top of my
hand
head.
out invitations for a dedication for the 12th.
Yeah, so that'll be really nice to have that completed. But we've been working a lot on pools and splash pads, getting those all up and running, kind of doing all the maintenance things that have to happen, and kind of some last minute stuff, getting those ready to go to kick off the season. And the last kind of really big thing that we've been working on is MacArthur Park, getting ready for the grand opening of the Museum of Fine Arts. That's coming up on April 22nd. So we're just trying to make sure that MacArthur is really up to par, doing some lighting improvements there, and just really taking, kind of trying to go the extra mile and make that place. So I know that's taken a lot of staff's time, but we've installed new benches, new trash can receptacles around, and done a lot of sidewalk improvements, little things like that. So really excited for that day and for that opening. But yeah, that's kind of the highlights of maintenance and operation. If anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Dorsey? All right, very good. Thank you, sir. Maintenance, Mr. Rogers. Oh, you covered it all? Okay, very good. Then I was going to hold a question. So can you talk to us a little bit? Obviously, you guys have been very busy over at Reservoir. Everybody's bringing all their debris in. What's that going to look like? What are you doing with all the debris and so on and so forth?
So right now, Reservoir's kind of being used, as a citywide, and they're separating it out by housing and construction debris versus like tree and kind of organic debris. And it's just being a staging area that we're using from that, then that's being hauled or grinded, and all that's happening on site to kind of expedite. So obviously, if you've been out there, Reservoir's gonna require some very extensive work. But we're just really early on because we don't have a good grasp on the time frame on how long that process is going to take before we really see what we've got when it's done. So,
yeah, good question. Good answer. Thank you very much. In terms of all of the damage that's been done to Reservoir, and I'm sure, I don't know if there's any other parts or not, but you cover that. Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. I'll hold my questions for that then. Thank you. Do we need to hear from Mike at this point? Is Mike? He's going to be in a tornado. Okay, got it. Very good. All right, then I believe that covers all the staff reports. Anything else to add, sir? All right, very good. Staff, you guys do a great job day in and day out, but you guys have been doing extra hard work these last couple of weeks, so thank you for all that you're doing. I know you're having to go above and beyond, so appreciate all that you're doing there. Old business, looking there, last month we had some highlights about Kiwanis Park. We got an update from Lauren on the golf tournament, and we also had a quick update on the social event kayaking. I think we're going to talk about each of these three things with the exception of Kiwanis here in just a moment. Anybody have any questions or comments about the old business?
There are no comments about Kiwanis? Is that what you said, the exception?
Oh, do you have some questions about the Kiwanis updates from last month? That's
But I know
yes.
in February, I just mentioned how the citizens over in that area really wanted it back. So I didn't want it or.
Let's push that over, Director. You want to take that one?
I'd be happy to cover that just a little bit, Director Lewis. I did give a presentation on it last month. But yes, we are working with the neighborhood and the Kiwanis Club, actually. And so currently we're looking at making improvements to the basketball court and a new playground. I know the neighborhood wants splash pads, parking lots, pavilions, the list kind of continues. I think it would be beneficial before we get too far along in the process to have a neighborhood meeting on site of some nature, a pop-up event. We also sent maintenance out there recently, and we did some maintenance around the basketball court. But that's the big plans for Kiwanis.
Okay, any date?
No, we do not have any dates. So it's still very early on in the conceptual phase of. In fact, it's Justin's project to start looking at designs for a playground. He has some conceptuals that we started working on, but that's as far as we've made it so far.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, very good. Thanks, Director, for that. So with the next item on the agenda being new business, and we have listed tornado damages, I think this is where we're going to hear from Mr. Garrity and probably some others. So we'll turn it over to you guys. Maybe Director Couch has a few words.
Anyway, I would just like to start. Can y'all hear me with this, Mike? Yeah.
Can everybody hear Director Couch? Can all of those of you online, can you guys hear? I'm seeing some thumbs up. Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay. So anyway, I'd like to see, were there any commissioners or anybody else in the room that was personally affected by the tornado? Just a little bit. Everybody was just a little bit, it seems like. So anyway, for Little Rock parks, we had 3 parks that were majorly, had major damage. And it was Rock Creek Park, which is in West Little Rock. So there's a trail system out there, and we had some major infrastructure damage out there. In fact, we haven't even been able to review it 100% because it's so extensive in terms of its location. And in fact, it's hard to get to because there's so many down trees. And so this aerial that we have up is actually, can I zoom in? Can you zoom in to Rock Creek? Yeah. So as they're doing that, this aerial is a before after, so we can actually go across yeah. Oof. Here, I can do it. It's not a touchscreen. Ooh. Ooh. Well, it's not going to work very well. What I'll try to do is, we don't have the time to go through this, but this is a really good link that I can send out to everybody, and you can actually go through and look at the previous and the after effects of the tornado. And so you can just slide a bar across the screen. Maybe if you can go to Reservoir and show that. Here, let me move that out of my way. But so anyway, we had 3 parks that were majorly affected. Rock Creek, which I started with, Reservoir Park, which is by the Jackson Reservoir there on Highway 10. The tornado went from end to end through the park, so the park is completely destroyed. We lost essentially every asset in the park, from a pavilion, if you zoom into Reservoir a little bit more. So we lost our disc golf course, we lost a pavilion, we lost a playground. The tennis courts were affected and the ball field was affected. The biggest thing that we lost was all the tree coverage. So we lost thousands of pine trees, and we're currently working through trying to figure out how to salvage some of those trees, as well as just process all the damage in the park. As staff mentioned and Chairperson Bowie mentioned, Reservoir Park is being utilized as a dumping site for the city of Little Rock. So residents can go and dump their debris there. We are working with Public Works on terms of a whole operation there. It's a very substantial. It's also housed debris as well. And then we'll grind all that in, we'll remove it. So Reservoir Park will be completely renovated, but this will be a closed park for, I'd say, at least a year, if not 2 years, because of the extent of the damage. I think they got it up and running. Yeah. Oh yeah, just show back and forth. So you can see right there where you can see the ground on the left, that's the damage. And then there was the tree cover. So now if he takes it back to the right, you can see everything that was damaged. So the only area that is still standing is down below the ball field, between the ball field and the residents down there. Those are the only trees that are left. So anyway, this is a really interesting slideshow here that you can go back and forth through and look throughout the city. The other part that I like to mention is Murray Park. So that was at the tail end before it jumped over the Arkansas River and went into Burns Park. Murray Park was, instead of it going through the entire length of Murray Park, it went across Murray Park, did some damage to Resmond Park Road, everything on the south side of Resmond Park Road. And then it found its way straight through kind of the swampy area. So it missed our pavilions, but it made damage to our fit lot that's down there, our sand volleyball courts, major trees. So you can see all those trees are all on the ground. And then the dog park to the right of the soccer fields down here, if you go just to the right a little bit, we had some extensive damage down there. Our urban forestry staff and some other maintenance staff have done really well at clearing this area. And there's actually soccer practice is going to happen down on the field tonight. That's pretty impressive that we were able to turn it around that fast. Code enforcement was able to help us. Volunteers have been great at helping pick it up. But there are still some issues at Murray and will be for many months to come. So it's not something that we want to advertise as being open to the park, but certain areas will be slowly being reopened to the citizens as we get them safe and are clear for the public use. So our next big area that we're trying to really open is the dog park, which staff has reported hopefully maybe by this weekend, if we're still looking for that. But there are a lot of extensive damage down there. So that's a general aspect of the effects to Little Rock parks. We did mention West Central is being utilized by FEMA. That will be ongoing. They don't know their exact time frame, but recreation staff moved everything out of there. That was a big lift, but we hopefully been able to work with everybody on all the reservations and all the displacements, but I think that's all been worked out. And so we're hopeful to be able to provide a better schedule to the citizens of when that will be back, available to the public. But we don't know that as of right now. So just with our time frame, I'll just open it up for any questions. And Mike Garrity's been in it from the beginning and has been living at our EOC, which is down on 7000 Murray Street, which is our emergency command. And so everything has been going through that location. Mike knows all the ins and outs of all the emergency side of everything and can answer any of those questions as well. And I don't know if you have anything you really want to cover on top of what we've covered so far. So
I suspect we're going to have some questions from the commissioners, but I do want to, for those of our commissioners online, if you would use the raise hand feature in Zoom or send a message through chat. We want to make sure that we get any questions from you guys. So let's go ahead and open it up for any questions. Any questions from our commissioners that are here?
Are the bike trails going to be open at some point in the near future, or is that we just want to be able to tell people what to expect? Or
absolutely. So are you referring to the Arkansas River Trail? Or?
Park area there.
Yes. So staff here might be able to answer that. We narrowed it down to just a small section that was closed. It was right there by still some major trees that are need to be removed right there at the entrance by the playground. But I think that's going to be finalized in the next week or so. And I think there's really people who most likely are detouring around a lot of that. Is that correct, guys?
We just want to know if we need to not send people through there until we get the green light, or okay. All right, we just don't want to send people in a work zone.
Yeah, it's basically Other questions? Any online? I don't see any raised hands. I do have one. Obviously, significant damage calls for significant cost. How, and with the limited funds that we have in the Parks and Recreation budget, how is all of this covered, this extra cost covered?
Great. So that's a great question. I didn't touch on that at all. So we've already, we've met with our insurance adjuster. So we have insurance on most of our structures. But a lot of things like the trees, the labor, the cleanup, the grass, the parking lots, the fencing and certain things like that, some of those are not covered. And certain things that are not covered and others will be hopefully covered under some FEMA reimbursements. And that's a process that Mr. Garrity here might be able to cover really well, because if there were some detailed questions, he was the one that helped with our big flood back in 19 and managed all of our reimbursements on a lot of that. So, but yes, everything that we've seen so far is in a process. It's just trying to figure out, is it a repair? Is it a replacement? And it takes time to do all that. So we haven't even started on any repairs yet. We've only been focused on cleanup efforts at this time and just really assessing what is damaged. I'll give you a quick story about that. So when we went to Murray Park, we couldn't get in for the first 3 or 4 days because of the high power voltage lines down. And we looked at from afar, we looked at the Murray pavilions and we go, oh, the Murray pavilions are okay. That's great. 8 pavilions are still all good. Looks like the roofs are all intact. And we went out there and actually JP walked around the backside of one of them, and all the pavilions on the backside, all the roofs have been damaged. I don't know how that happened, because the tornado was going, across the river, but the back wind effort, I guess, destroyed. So all those pavilions will have to be rebuilt or roofs at least replaced. So there's always something new that we find every time we go out. And so we're doing a lot of that. And we do have staff going out, putting caution tape and closed signs. We really just ask citizens to stay off of anything that has been affected by the tornado, because we don't know realistically what the full extent of the damage is until we final review. So any other questions?
Any other questions? Any online?
Statue okay?
The banana is great. We plan on doing some more improvements down there, but and Mike was just saying he can get into the details about FEMA if we want to, but that's just if anybody has any questions on that.
At this point, obviously, with the efforts to clean up and then the coming repairs, is there anything at this point that you were looking forward to accomplishing this year from a new project perspective? Are things just put on hold indefinitely, or are you already going to push things out, or is it too early to say?
No, that's another great question. So it's we just had to kind of step up our game even more. So we were focused a whole lot on doing a lot of ARPA projects, bond projects, all of those, yes, got put on tentatively kind of a little bit of a hold for a few days, but realistically, we can't stop that process. We have to keep pushing forward. So all of that is still going forward. We just have a whole nother bigger and more extensive project. But, I really look forward to making all these things that were damaged better and moving forward. And, Reservoir Park will be completely different, but I'm optimistic that we'll make something better of it at the end of the day. So.
Very good. Director Couch, thank you. Thank you again to all the staff for all the efforts you guys are putting in. Can't even imagine the extra hours y'all are having to expend on this. So thank you very much for all that.
Okay, thank you all. And thank you for everybody that's donated their time and volunteers, and particularly, everything for all the residents in the area that were affected. So I think next is the Ward 1 highlights. I'll just quickly go through that. We didn't have the tornado obviously on there on our agenda originally, so but I will kind of go through Ward 1. Space button. So this is just our ward map here showing the different wards. So I appreciate the commission asking for a quick update on Ward 1's parks. And so This is, yep, Ward 1 in detail. So if you think of the city, this is inclusive of the area like where the Little Rock Airport is. All of East Village, East Downtown area is the big area of Ward 1. So believe it or not, we have an extensive amount of parks in this area. Some believe staff put the list together. There's, well, I didn't even know that, 21 parks in Ward 1. Ward 1 is one of our older areas, and so there's a lot of different parks there. There's some really unique ones. And I do have an aerial of each one, and I'll just quickly go through there. There's no way that I can get into every little detail of every project in 21 parks in a 5-minute conversation, but I'll just give you some really quick overview. So East Little Rock Community Center has been closed for several years. We still have some staff there, and I'm looking to make some major improvements here to try to turn it over into a more of a special event center, utilizing some of our bond and ARPA funds and making some other improvements to the existing tennis courts. There is a trail system that's called the Southeast Trail that's going to come out along the levee, which is in the north side of this area, which is going to connect this back to the city. And so this area here, I believe, is very important for us to renovate and bring back to the city of Little Rock in terms of special events. And a lot of that is because the neighborhood here, some of it's been displaced by the airport. And so it's how do we turn this into something else? There's also a clinic that operates here, the St. Vincent's Clinic, which has been there for over 50 years, which is very successful. Next is the Clinton Library. So our biggest asset down here that we manage all the time is the Bill Clark Wetland, which is the area up there on the Arkansas River, which has a boardwalk. There's another project there where we have Trex material that we're going to replace. I'm working with some engineers currently to figure all that out, doing some landscape improvements, pump improvements, a lot of other things. We also have a sculpture that we're doing with our sculpture, the River Market Committee at the Clinton Library. And actually there's an event, I think it's this Friday night, that we're going to select the final one for that selection there. If anybody has any questions, please just stop me. I'm just going to go really fast here. So Riverfront Park, boy, how can I cover Riverfront Park? There are so many projects in Riverfront Park. I got a new one this morning. Director Compuris asked me to look at doing a new project connecting to our treehouse, which was our latest project was a new treehouse on the Arkansas River. He wants to make some improvements there. I have a meeting right after this to go look at the river market, which is something that we also manage. We don't physically manage it today. The Little Rock CVB does, but it's still in our books or on our books. So anyway, Riverfront Park go on forever. Vogel Schwartz Garden is in Riverfront Park. That's another, that was a great project we did a long time ago. A lot of great sculptures. We have over $5 million worth of sculpture assets in our parks today. MacArthur Park, working very hard to get MacArthur Park up and running for the April 22nd opening of the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts. We've partnered with them a lot on a lot of projects to make it look nice for the park. We do have a master plan, and we are looking to make major improvements to the fishing pond is our next big push with the Mac Park group there so that we can bring back our fishing derby that we lost. We also have a Firehouse Hostel Museum here, and they have a big project that they want to push forward, which is a $15 million new Firehouse Hostel, which is that's another project to cover. Hanger Hill Park is a smaller neighborhood park. It's the biggest improvement there recently. We did a new playground and improved some of the basketball courts and access. The tennis court there needs a lot of love, and would love to find a new idea for that park, but it's another great little neighborhood park. Pettyway Park, another great little neighborhood park. Pettyway is up and coming neighborhood. There's been a lot of new development in the neighborhood, and Pettyway Park is one that needs some new improvements in terms of new playground and assets, but it's a great little neighborhood park. Dunbar Community Center. This is another great community center. This is a great asset to us. Currently, we're working on the tennis courts to put new lights, Musco lights on the courts. We also have the Dunbar Community Center, the Dunbar Garden down at the bottom. That's where our new sculpture will be placed. Working a lot with Chris Wireman, who is our staff that works in the garden there. He's a part-time worker. We're trying to give some better benefits to, and we're going to use some funds from ARPA and the bond to make some improvements to our community center there. But another great asset to Little Rock Parks and Recreation. Fletcher Park, another great little neighborhood park, recently been updated, but is in time for another little facelift sooner than later. Crump Park received a lot of funding from the previous tax initiative. We were able to put in some sport lighting. We put in a really awesome splash pad and improved everything in terms of accessibility. We still have a little bit of money left over. We'll be making some major improvements there in terms of either the trail or the ball field. But anyway, Crump Park's great. The Crump Garden also is in the top left-hand corner of the screen. We're working with them. They're working with the USDA. They got a huge grant for $180,000 to do a big garden hoop house, and really exciting there, working with Dr. Hatchett there on that grant. They went after the grant. They got the whole grant. We're just trying to help do anything that they can to make it better. So Southside Park, another great little neighborhood park, football field. We put in some sport lights there. We're working with them on improving their drainage. They have a lot of drainage issues in the park. And hopefully we'll be working on their parking lot and pavement improvements down there in the coming years. And that's really quick. I didn't get to Interstate Park, wasn't on there, but that's a whole nother thing. And we have a big bid out for $600,000 to repave. Not a bid out. We received a bid for $600,000 roughly for repaving the main entry road, which I know everybody's really looking forward to, and it really is needed. And so we're in the process of trying to finalize some contracts there. So anyway, no questions.
Lots to cover there. Thank you. Take a breath. Take a breath. Any questions for Director Couch on the Ward 1 Parks report? Thank you so much for that. That was very, very, very informative. No, really, I mean, when you break down that you've got 20 plus parks in Ward 1, that's a lot of parks. Certainly is. Okay, very good. Thank you, Director Couch. Very, very quickly, we've only got about 13 minutes left, and I want to turn first to Lauren Eldridge, who's got a quick update for us on the golf tournament. Lauren, if you're able to say a few words there.
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as we get a live portal on the
Lauren, it looks like we're not able to hear you.
Oh crap. Can you hear me? Matt?
I can hear you.
We must not have an audio connection there, Lauren. Sorry about that.
Hello?
We'll try you one more time. Can you hear us there?
I can hear you.
You can hear us, but we can't hear you. Okay. Goodness. Well, sorry about that, Lauren. I know you had shared a couple of quick talking points with me just before the meeting. So very quickly, Lauren, you tell me if these are good reports or not. So in terms of the golf tournament, it is still, of course, coming right up on May the 19th, very, very quickly. Lauren is also working to send out a flyer for the golf tournament, and there's going to be some information on the sponsorships there too as well. So look to receive a flyer from Lauren very shortly. There's also going to be a QR code on there for registering golf teams. Sponsorships will need to coordinate directly with Lauren on that. And then last but not least, Lauren, I think the other item that you had wanted to talk about was the lunch. One of the lunch vendors was going to be Director Peck's Trios, and obviously they've sustained significant storm damage. So we'll be looking for a new partner there on that front. So I hope, Lauren, that covers the high points. If there's anything else, please just maybe let us know, and we'll certainly reach out to you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, we've got you there now. After that update, we've got you now. So anything that you'd like to add, go ahead.
So we will go live as soon as we've got a registration portal on the website. So as soon as that happens, I think that we can start soon.
Lauren,
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead, keep going. You're cutting in and out, but keep going.
Okay, sponsorships please be thinking about those and email me if anybody shows interest. I'll send out a flyer on that in addition to the main golf tournament very soon.
Okay, very good. Lauren, thank you so much. Mr. Garrity's here. I think he's got a word about the website.
Delayed a week with the storm, but the information has been sent down to our company we're going to use, and they're working on it. So hopefully we'll have it. I don't know if it'll be by the end of this week, but it'll first part of next week.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Any questions for Commissioner Eldridge on the golf tournament? All right. Very quickly, Director, a word on the social event for May the 13th. Time to follow. Anything to add to that? Nope. Okay. Social event, May 13th for the commissioners and anyone else who would like to attend. So please watch for that. We'll have some timing to follow on that. So with anything else? Save the date. Save the date. Kayak event, May the 13th. All right. With our remaining time, let's quickly turn to the subcommittees. So let's do social media and outreach first. So Commissioner France, an update?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike Garrity and I had a phone call, I guess the morning of when the tornadoes came, and I am going to follow up with him. I'm producing an outline of kind of a social media strategy. We were supposed to have a conversation, but I gave him some time because of tornado. But hopefully by next month we'll have a more of an outline and can share that with you as far as strategy goes, and then look forward to hopefully meeting our new social media marketing coordinator that can help with this. Thank you. That's all I got.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions for Commissioner France? All right, then moving on to Commissioner Smith for a master plan update.
Master plan has not met, but I do applaud Leland and the whole staff for bringing these updates on different park areas to us. I think they're very helpful, and it's something we had discussed early on in the master planning group.
Agreed. Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Quickly on the Parks Conservancy, I think we've lost Lauren. On the Parks Conservancy, we do have our social media plan kind of enacted. I had some conversations with Mr. Garrity. Mr. Garrity, thank you for getting the Parks Conservancy logo back on the Parks website. I do have a couple of things that I'll try to hand out for you guys here after the meeting. Got a little flyer for the Parks Conservancy asking or how to join the Friends program. Got a little sticker for you guys as well. But the Friends program's up and going. We're just looking to expand upon it at this point. So keep watching that space and social media as well as we partner with Parks and Recreation, Mr. Garrity and Commissioner France to kind of integrate some things there. So more to come on that. All right, agenda items for the next meeting. Sorry, any questions about Conservancy? Okay, moving on to our agenda items for next meeting. Any other agenda items that we need to add for next meeting?
I would like to ask the commission if there's another location, maybe not a whole ward, but would be my recommendation, but maybe if there was a park or two or an area of interest that we would like for staff or myself to give an update on. Anybody?
Is there a recommendation or a suggestion from any of the commissioners on maybe the program, if you will, for our next meeting to talk about other parks? Any particular area? If not, we'll leave it up to maybe Director Couch. I don't know, Commissioner France, were you about to say something there?
Sorry, I mean, what about Hyman Park? I mean, that's a pretty big park, and maybe talk through kind of how it's being utilized now.
Sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. I'll give it a solid report on Hyman Park. Thank you, Ben.
Hyman Park next month. Okay, then any other agenda items that we need to add for next month? Else we'll keep the same agenda, typical agenda. Let's see, board liaison feedback. We did have Director Lewis with us a moment ago. She stepped out. I don't know, is she planning to come back? She has another meeting, new one. All right, so I don't guess we'll have any feedback. Obviously, Director Peck is not here with us today. Next meeting is on Wednesday, May the 10th, here at the center at 12 p.m. We actually did get completed on time. I'm not sure how we did that. Great updates. Again, echoing what Commissioner Smith said, great updates from the entire staff. Thanks guys for all that you're doing. Appreciate all your work, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys next month. So meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
It's great.